Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Wednesday, July the 19th is the feature race at Del Mar on opening day. Race number 8 at a mile on the turf. It's the Oceanside for 3-year-old turf runners going a mile. Let's take a look at this big and bulky field. Remember to head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com. Download free Formulator past performances and handicap along with us as we take the Oceanside in post position order. And one of the ones to beat's the #1 Arms runner, Matt. 2 for 2 in his career for Peter Miller, but he's stretching out off a little bit of a layoff.
I think he's very talented. You know, I wanted to take a shot with him in the race that we saw Battle of Midway just kind of walk on the front end. Unfortunately, they scratched him. They're going to run him here, Arms runner. I think he's very, very talented. Peter Miller, for as many races as he wins, negative formulator fact, and a pretty surprising one to me anyway. Past 5 years, first time routing in non-graded stakes races, 1 for 23, 3 in the money with a 34-cent ROI. When you add in turf, 0 for 17, and only one of them hit the board. I'm not suggesting that that precludes this horse from winning, but at the same time, keep it in mind, because this horse is going to come down from that 3-1. I think he's going to go off about 8-5.
It's something to consider at a relatively short price, but Arms runner does have the fast race, the 95 Beyer speed figure, and he overcame a little bit of trouble, I thought, in that Desert Code Stakes. Norberto Arroyo, I thought, put him in a fine spot on the turn, and then the trip looked like it might not work out. He was shuffled in behind horses, and then this horse just overcame, and he won comfortably. He's still a little bit of greenness with his lead changes, but I like the fact that he showed he can sit inside behind horses, because I think the plan is to grab the pocket behind the speeds.
Man, because it looks like that we're going to have barbecue signed up front. And again, if there's anybody with concerns about the horse's ability to get the distance, keep in mind he's a half to calculator who was successful at a mile.
And it's not like he's going a mile and a 16th or a mile and an 1/8. He's going to go a mile. I think Arms runner will handle the distance just fine. You know I'm a big fan of the #2 Bird is the Word, who pretty much is a one-run closer. He was a little bit closer to a moderate pace last time out, and he just missed again by a half length. One of these days he's going to get the right setup. It might be here considering the pace. The question is, how much improvement can we expect? This is going to be start number 12.
I don't think you get any more improvement. I think he's going to run an 88, and I think he's probably going to run second or third. I mean, he just always seems to find one better than him. He's an honest horse. He's going to show up and run his race, with the exception of that one race that he graduated. He just finds one better by about a half length, and I think we're probably setting ourselves up for the same thing.
Peter Miller is very well represented in this year's Oceanside. He's got Arms runner. He also has the 3 Vending Machine, who finished first last time out when dangled for a $75,000 tag, and he was disqualified.
I have to be honest, and I don't know if this was the race that he happened to be talking about when he spoke with Mary Rampolini. I have no idea how this horse got taken down. There was nothing that happened there, but point being, this horse ran too well to be taken down last time. And keep in mind, too, I'm not sure that 6.5 is really what he wants. I think he wants more distance. He's a half to Comet at the top, who I know he did his best stuff going shorter, but I think there's some ability here. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs well.
He won the Eddie Logan as a 2-year-old going a mile, and I thought he ran just fine in the Singletary 2 starts back against a couple of these horses. I don't think really the trip worked out for him that great from a pace standpoint. I thought he ran okay to finish third.
No, I agree. I think this horse is very logical in here, and it's nice you get Bejarano.
Morning line favorites, the #4 Bowie's Hero, 5-2 on the line, and if you believe the pace will be swift, it really plays into this horse's hooves, because look at his run early in his career. The Del Mar Juvenile Turf, he got a big pace, he came with a big run. The Singletary 2 starts back, he got a pace because he just went right to the nose at the start. The fact that he was able to overcome that, I think, shows that he's a pretty talented horse. Last time out in the Pennine Ridge, there was nothing for him to run at, and that Oscar Performance is pretty good.
I was going to say, you know, you had a couple runners come back to flat of that, most notably Oscar Performance when he won the Belmont Derby, and he was much closer to the pace than he wants to be, and he was in a bit of a no-win situation, in my opinion. Now you're going to get pace for him to run at. You brought up the Singletary. If you haven't gone back to look at it, I know it says stumbled start. He went down to his nose. I mean, I wouldn't have faulted him at all if he didn't pick his feet up and draw a line through it. Instead, he comes and wins.
Yeah, he went to his nose, and then he was about 8 wide turning into the stretch, and he was still running away from those horses down to the wire. Again, as you mentioned, the Pennine Ridge, no pace. He was closer, and he was running at the end. It's just hard to make up ground when they're sprinting. Top horses are sprinting for home. Bowie's Hero, a very logical contender. The 5 is Pioneer Lad for Richard Baltas, trying turf for the first time. He's a half to a graded stakes placed turf performer in John's Kitten.
Yeah, and as far as the Pioneer and the Niles are concerned, about 15% first-time turf. Baltas has had some success going dirt to turf in the past. This is Okay, granted these horses are not necessarily prolific winners just yet, or graded stakes winners. this is a tough spot to make a turf debut.
We expect the pace to be fast. Let's see what our friends at Timeform US have to say with their pace projector for the Oceanside. And they agree, as you see by the red bar indicating that this race will have a fast pace. And perhaps the number 6, Rockin' Rudy, a stretch-out sprinter for Doug O'Neill, will supply the bulk of that pace. I thought his most recent race on the turf, you have to go all the way back to March, was really a good effort. It was one of those situations where he won the duel and lost the war, but distance and a fast pace might work against him. Still, at 20-1 on the morning line, this is a horse maybe I would fool around with in case the pace doesn't materialize.
And you don't really know what he could possibly be just yet. He's only gone out 5 times. I think that horse that got him, that won the war, you know, law-abiding citizen, I think he's got a little bit of ability. But that day, keep in mind, Rockin' Rudy is capable going down the hill of throwing in 21-1. I mean, he's got legitimate early gas. So I would be stunned if he was, put it this way, if he's on the front, I can't imagine having anything slower than, boy, 47. I think that's even being a little bit kind. I think it's probably going to be 46 and change.
And maybe taking some heat to boot. But I think he does have a little bit of ability. The 7, All About Mike, yet another Peter Miller trainee. He's got to be coming into this race with his confidence sky high. He's won his last 2 in relatively comfortable fashion. Big step up in class, but you like this horse.
A big step up, and you also have to wonder, maybe the downhill turf course is what he wants at Santa Anita. We'll find out about 2 turns, but 2 starts back, I know it was maiden 75. He just got out there, found himself on a lonely lead, and they weren't going fast. The most recent race was heartening, though, to me, because he wanted to go. He did finally relax a little bit, but he was under a hard hold, under and behind horses in the pocket, and he had to come out about 5-6 paths turning for home, and he finished really, really well. He's an interesting outfit in here.
Lucky Bodie pulled off a little bit of an upset to win in his return to turf at Golden Gate Fields. Only a maiden race. Big step up in class. He looks slow on paper.
Looks very slow on paper. Going to need to jump up in a big way.
I think the 9 Placido is a horse I might use in multiple and single race exotic wagers. He switched to turf for his grass debut in a maiden race last time out. He came widest turning into the stretch. Still a little bit green with his lead changes, but by far and away the best performance on the Beyer speed figure scale. And I think he's got the right running style.
Yeah, he should be able to sit just a little bit off of that pace, let those pace setters go out there and take advantage. Simon Callahan's also done very well past 4 years, maiden winner, last out sprint to Route 3 for 9 with a 480 ROI.
I think the 10 Grecian Fire is also interesting at a bit of a price. He won the Alcatraz Stakes at Golden Gate Fields when he was up close to a slow pace. The question is, can he be as effective rallying from mid-pack or beyond? Last time out in the Rainbow, maybe a mile and an eighth a little bit far, and he was sort of chasing slow splits.
Yeah, you know, I know Roble likes the horse. If I'm taking anyone out of the Rainbow, I kind of want Monster Man, just because I thought he was the one that did the majority of the work. Maybe the little slight turn back in distance to a mile helps this one, but I just don't love him.
The 11 Caribou Club, a stakes winner on turf as a 2-year-old. He won the Laurel Futurity by a nose. Last time out in the Murphy, no match for Yoshida, who we think is pretty good, but the rest of that Murphy field hasn't exactly come back to acquit themselves. A little bit slow on paper, but Tom Proctor's a very good trainer.
Yeah, it's good to see Proctor back in Southern California, but you even brought up Yoshida. Let's be honest, Yoshida wasn't all that good in the Belmont Derby. I didn't think there was a huge excuse for that race, maybe the distance, but Caribou Club's going to need to improve.
Fortune of War, here's a formulator fact runner at a price. Fortune of War is 20-1. His trainer over the past 4 years with last out maiden winners on turf, 3-year-olds, 25% in a positive ROI, and this source came from well back to score over 3 next out winners. The 3rd place finisher returning to win with an 83 Beyer. So it appears this horse is sharp.
Yeah, you've had a couple of next out winners, like you say, or a few, I should say, 83, 77, 79. I'm a little bit concerned we haven't seen him since the end of April. I do think, though, you hear some people say it sounds like he's training very well. I won't be surprised if he comes on at the end. I just think it might be a little bit tough.
Monster Man wired to field 2 starts back in an optional claiming race. He set the pace in the Rainbow Stakes last time out. I thought he was able to get a nice, easy lead. This time around, he might be chasing faster fractions. You and I are both fans of this horse. I think you can use him, but I wonder if the pace is hot, if he's in trouble.
And I think he needs the lead. And if he's going that fast to make the front, if he's outfooting, you know, Rockin' Rudy or someone else, I just think he's going way too fast early.
My man Chuckles, the 14, the last horse in the body of the race, stretches out for trainer Doug O'Neill as a tough outside post position going a mile at Del Mar.
Yeah, going to need to improve as well.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the feature on opening day Wednesday, the Oceanside. I think Arms Runner is just a very logical horse that's going to work out a trip. I'm not sure I want to bet him at too short of a price. Maybe I would try to get some long shots underneath horses like the 6 or the 13. You always have to respect a a horse like the 4 as well, Bowie's Hero. But Arms Runner might be the most likely winner for me. But I'm more interested in hearing your opinion about Mike, 15-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, no, it was just one of those things where I liked the fact that he broke his maiden. I know it was in for a tag, but I liked the fact that he did it on the front, and then he came right back against winners, and he sat in behind traffic. And even though he's one of those stretch-out sprinters, I kind of feel like I don't think he's fast enough to make the front, and I think he could work at a good trip. Whether he's talented enough or not remains to be seen, but I'll take a shot with him. He's 15 on the line, and I won't be surprised if he's every bit of that.
So we both are going with Peter Miller. You're going 7, 4, 2, and 1 in the Oceanside 1, 6, 13, 4 for me. If you are playing the Del Mar Wednesday card from home, no better place to do it than DRF Bets, because new DRF Bets subscribers, if you sign up right now, you get 10% win place takeout on 10 select tracks all summer long, plus a $300 cash bonus. Learn more at drf.com/take10. Approximate post time for the $100,000 Oceanside Stakes, the feature at beautiful Del Mar on Wednesday, 5:40 Pacific. Good luck.